to the WRMN News. I'm Dennis Green. Today's stories: I was in the hands of God. An October 7th hostage shares her story at Vernon Hills Hanukkah celebration. And Naperville's Underwood fighting Republican to spark a blue wave. And Indian Prairie District 204 welcomes a new superintendent. Before we get to that, let's get to our weather. Today, we've got a high of 37 with a low of 29. Times of cloud and sun, breezy, but not as cold as it has been. Tomorrow, a high of 35 with a low of 30. Areas of freezing fog in the morning and times of clouds and sun. Watch for slippery spots early. Thursday, a high of 46 and a low of 13. Periods of rain in the morning, otherwise cloudy and windy, then cooler in the afternoon. Temperatures drop on Friday as we get our high of 27 and a low of 22. Windy in the morning, colder with periods of sunshine. And Saturday, we hit back to the 40s with 44 and a low of 13. Breezy in the morning, otherwise, times of sun and clouds together. Sunday, we lose a few degrees for a high of 33 and a low of 20, but breezy in the morning and mostly sunny for the day. Stick around for more here on WRMN for that forecast. Before we head out, let's do just one more story before we hit a commercial break. The Salvation Army is making a plea to the public to make online donations as severe winter weather conditions have affected the annual Red Kettle fundraising campaign. Recent frigid temperatures have forced the Salvation Army to pull some of its iconic red kettles for the safety of the bell ringers, impacting their efforts. The money raised in Red Kettles funds Salvation Army year-round programs and services, including shelters, food pantries, mobile feeding, after-school programs, emergency utility assistance, and more. You can donate to a virtual Red Kettle at chicagoredkettle.org. When we come back, there were standoff charges for a 33-year-old Hampshire man. And we've got more of our headline stories. Indian Prairie District 204 welcomes a new superintendent, and Naperville's Underwood is fighting Republicans to spark a blue wave. Stick around. We've got more here on the WRMN News. I'm Dennis Green. I'll be back with you after this.
If you turned 65 recently like me, it's important you find a Medicare Advantage plan that gives you the coverage you're looking for. But finding one can be difficult. The best thing I did, and I suggest you do the same, is call a licensed insurance agent and let them walk you through your Medicare Advantage plan options. There are so many benefits you have access to, so make the call now and let the representatives explain everything to you. Our licensed insurance agents can offer you a variety of Medicare Advantage plans. Plus, the call is free, the information is free, and there's no obligation to enroll. We're here to make it easy for you to select a Medicare Advantage plan that may work for your needs. Finding a Medicare Advantage plan can be easy if you do what I did. Make a quick call right now to learn more. Thank you.
800-433-3082. 800-433-3082. 800-433-3082. That's 800-433-3082.
Ever tried balancing a dozen eggs in one hand while hopping on one foot? Or maybe juggling cats while riding the unicycle? Sounds ridiculous, right? But guess what? That's exactly what texting while driving is like. Your human brain only has the capacity to focus on one thing at a time. So when you're behind the wheel, give driving your undivided attention.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Want to know what the shepherds did after they visited the Christ child? to read the short novel, The Good Shepherds, a Christmas combat story by Michael Tooman. Available on Amazon in hardcover, paperback, and Kindle editions. Check out Michael Tooman's webpage at Psylink.net. That is PSYLINK.net. Papa Sierra Yankee, Lima India November Kilo, dot November Echo Tango.
Welcome back to the WRMN News. We finally got the ramp open, a quote, because access from the tollway to North Avenue is a game changer. This comes from the Daily Herald, written by Marnie Pike. A major source of frustration and traffic congestion in the Elmhurst area will be tamed when a new tri-state I-294 ramp opens later this week. Leaders from Illinois Tollway, Cook County, and our communities celebrating completion of the ramp from southbound I-294 to County Line Road with access to North Avenue and Lake Street on Monday. Tollway Executive Director Claudia Rouse said the area surrounding North Avenue and Lake Street is one of the most important commercial and industrial corridors along the Tri-State Tollway. She continued, for years, congestion on the I-290 interchange limited access from I-294. It created bottlenecks that affected commuters. It affected freight movement and local businesses. The ramp, estimated to handle about 5,700 vehicles daily, is expected to open Saturday and could reduce travel times on local roads by up to 65%. North Lake Mayor Jeff Serwin said, "It's a big deal for us. It's going to ease movements of traffic into our industrial area and our commercial area. All the towns east of us, I think all the way to Oak Park, are going to benefit because North Avenue now will have direct access from the tollway going eastbound. Tolls to use the ramp will be 30 cents for cars and from $1.20 to $3.05 for trucks with nighttime discounts. The tollway collaborated with Cook County on a broader North Avenue interchange project. Along with the ramp, it includes realigning County Farm Road and rebuilding and reconfiguring North Avenue, Lake Street, Northwest Avenue, and the I-29 frontage road. Sherwin said, "I'm surprised the ramp was never built originally when they built the tollway, seeing as North Avenue is so busy." A major hotel was built in North Lake near the Tri-State in 1968, quote, on the promise that they were going to get the ramp. The ramp didn't come and the hotel went bust, Sherman recounted, adding the site is currently home to Concord Palace Seniors Residence. Here we are 57 years later, we finally got the ramp open, he said. The improvement should also relieve problems in Elmhurst from westbound North Avenue drivers turning around in neighborhoods after exiting the I-290 to go east. The interchange project will cost more than $50 million. Other upgrades include widening the Lake Street Bridge, adding 7 new or improved signalized interchanges, and detention ponds and storm sewers to deter flooding on North Avenue. Read more about it from the Daily Herald. Before we go, one shot and one fatally died near Howard, the victim ID'd as an Itasca woman. The McHenry, this comes from the Shaw Local. The McHenry County Coroner's Office has identified the person shot and killed near Harvard Saturday afternoon as an Itasca woman. The victim, Santina Perry, 65, is set for an autopsy Wednesday, according to a release from the coroner, Dr. Michael Rain. She was one of 2 people shot in the incident, authorities announced on Monday. Authorities found Perry dead and a man injured, both from gunshot wounds, when police arrived at Island Road at about 4:45 p.m. Saturday for a well-being check, according to a McHenry County Sheriff's Office news release. The release said the 2 were identified by household members and the man was taken to a nearby hospital with serious injuries. The release referred to the incident as isolated and said there's no threat to the public. The investigation is ongoing. The McHenry County Conservation Police Department and Harvard Fire Protection District responded in addition to the sheriff. Harvard Fire Protection Chief John Kimmel had confirmed earlier Monday that his agency was called for an emergency and that the injured person was, quote, taken to Mercy Health Harvard Hospital and from there taken by helicopter to a level 1 trauma center. The McHenry County Sheriff's Office, McHenry County Conservation District, Police, the Coroner's Office, and Harvard Police Department are coordinating the investigation, according to Rain's release. Stick around, we've got more news coming up for you, including the St. Charles tax hikes, the levy to help fund pensions and services. Also, a destination restaurant is opening in Wheeling. And of course, we've got our headline stories. The Indian Prairie District 204 welcomes a new superintendent. And I was in the hands of God. An October 7th hostage shares her story at Vernon Hills Hanukkah celebration. Stick around, we've got more news from the Daily Herald, the Associated Press, and Shaw Local, all here on the WRMN News Hour.
Children are the greatest joy and our best hope for a better future. Friends, they are the future. But did you know that millions of kids right here in our own backyard are facing hunger every day? Without healthy food, it's harder to grow, to thrive, to feel their best.
The impact when children don't have enough to eat is tremendous because when you're hungry and your basic needs aren't being met, you cannot learn.
Every child deserves to be fed. This is a problem we know how to solve. Food is not just food. It's energy, health, confidence, hope, and even love. Yes, love.
Breakfast in the classroom contributes to kids being more focused, which leads to higher grades, and simply just their well-being.
Thank you!
Learn more about how No Kid Hungry is helping end child hunger in America at helpnokidhungry.org.
Listen this Sunday afternoon to Handle on the Law.
I know we're at an at-will date, but for making a comment, like, hey, your hair looks good. And then I got a call from HR saying, hey, you know what, you're under investigation. Do I have any recourse?
Were you fired?
No, not yet.
The problem, Eddie, is they can fire you for any reason they want. They literally can wake up in the morning and say, you know what, I'm a little bored this morning. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to fire Eddie for no reason. Yep, he can do that. Yeah, that's California. Yep, welcome.
It's Handle on the Law this Sunday afternoon from 4 to 7 right here on WRMN.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
If you build a relationship, then it becomes easier. If you build trust, it becomes easier. As a parent, you want what's best for your child. To give them the love that a child needs is probably the best thing you can do for a teenager.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the WRMN News. A 33-year-old Hampshire man faces charges following a 7-hour standoff with Streamwood police last week. Police arrived at approximately 3:34 p.m. Wednesday on the 900 block of Kings Canyon Drive after receiving a report of a domestic battery in progress. According to police, Chance Kager barricaded himself inside a residence before police arrested him at 11:13 p.m. Police were assisted by Northern Illinois Police Alarm System. Kager is charged with criminal damage to property. He was released by Streamwood Police and taken to the DuPage County Jail, where he was wanted on 2 outstanding warrants. The Rolling Meadows Fire Department, in partnership with the Meijer store in Rolling Meadows, is offering free carbon monoxide detectors to residents in need. Carbon monoxide is produced by fuel-burning appliances such as furnaces, water heaters, and stoves, as well as fireplaces and vehicles. Because it cannot be seen or smelled, exposure can lead to symptoms often mistaken for the flu, including headache, dizziness, nausea, and confusion. High levels can quickly become lethal. Residents interested in receiving a free carbon monoxide detector or learn more about the program can call 847-397-3352 and extension 4041 or email fireprevention@cityrm.org. St. Charles hikes tax levy to help fund pensions and services. The city of St. Charles approved a $15.4 million 2025 property tax levy, an increase over last year, in a plan officials said is meant to help pay for rising costs of services due to inflation and first responder pensions. A public hearing for the levy was held during the December 1st City Council meeting. Here's a look on how the levy will affect city functions and taxpayers going into next year. Mayor Clint Hull said since the City Council approved the preliminary estate on November 17th, quote, there have been no changes in the estimate since that time. City Council unanimously approved a general purpose levy with a 3.99% increase over last year's total levy extension. Last year's levy was around $14.9 million. The property tax levy sets the amount of money a taxing body intends to collect. The tax rate is reflected of what individual property owners will need to pay to generate the property tax revenue needed. The levy will be collected on property taxes payable in 2026. City Finance Director Bill Hannon said the owner of a $400,000 house should expect a $24 annual increase on the portion of their property tax bills that goes to the city. That's typically about 10% of the overall tax bill. Hannah said the increase in the levy is primarily to fund increased fire and police pension obligations and to help fund, because of inflation in recent years, the increasing cost of providing high-quality services to citizens. The total tax levy is calculated using a combination of inflation measured by the Consumer Price Index, the estimated equalized assessed value, the EVA growth, and new construction and expenses. Over the past 4 years, the average Consumer Price Index inflation rate has been 4.95. Hannah said for 2024, that rate dipped to a 2.9% increase. The St. Charles Police Pension Fund contribution from the levy is increasing by almost $30,000 to slightly over $4.5 million in total. The St. Charles Firefighters Pension fund contribution from the levy is increasing by nearly $236,000 to roughly $3.2 million in total. Property taxes comprise around 24% of the city's budget revenues for the general fund, according to city documents. Hannah said the increase in the tax levy will help fund city services and maintain core operations. Read more about it at the Shaw Local News, titled St. Charles Hikes Tax Levy to Help Fund Pension Services. And a destination restaurant there in Wheeling, a new Indian eatery proposed for former Tuscany site in Wheeling. A Chicago area restaurateur plans to open his latest venture in a long vacant space on Wheeling's Restaurant Row. Arun Sharma is eyeing the former Tuscany building at 550 South Milwaukee Avenue for a culinary concept to be called Ahara. He envisions an upscale restaurant with a lounge, private event space, and exterior dining areas for patrons. Ahara would be, quote, a destination restaurant, Sharma told the Village Board Monday during the first public review of the plans. The Sharma family already operates Indian Garden Chicago in the Streeterville neighborhood and Mantra by Indian Garden in Schiller Park. Sharma said he's hired a chef from India to run the kitchen. The 7,735 square foot building has been unused since Tuscany closed in January of 2022. In addition to a full interior renovation, the exterior will undergo a significant facelift, architect Jeremy Wilmot told the Village Board. Read more about it on the Daily Herald, written by Russell Liso. You can find it on page 3 of today's paper. Head on over to the Daily Herald at dailyherald.com. While you're there on the internet, head on over to WRMN1410.com to find all the news about WRMN and the WRMN schedule. You can also find us on YouTube. That's youtube.com. See us over at WRMN Radio. When we come back, we've got our headline stories. Naperville's Underwood is fighting Republicans to spark a blue wave, and Indian Prairie District 204 welcomes a new superintendent. We've got more news coming up after this on the WRMN News Hour.
I'm Trey Westerberg on 1410 WRMN Elgin, proudly serving the Fox River Valley. This update brought to you by Progressive. Naperville police are urging drivers to stay sober this holiday season as part of an increased safety crackdown running through January 5th. Officers will target impaired driving, reminding residents to plan a sober ride home, wear seatbelts, and follow safety tips like using ride shares or public transit. The campaign is part of statewide efforts to prevent holiday DUI and impaired driving incidents. The mayor of Aurora announced a $360,000 donation of personal protective equipment from local company T Innovations. The gear will be used at the city's temporary warming center to help protect vulnerable residents during cold weather. The city also plans to partner with Hesed House to help distribute the PPE throughout the community. Oswego is installing 2 new electric vehicle charging stations downtown. A level 3 dual-port charger will be at Harrison Street lot, and 2 level 2 dual-port chargers will be at Hudson Crossing Park. 7 products sold on Amazon have been recalled nationally due to safety risks. The recalls include baby bath seats, infant walkers, and children's Little Mermaid costumes. Risks range from drowning and injury to toxic chemical exposure. Consumers are advised to stop using the products and contact retailers for refunds. In Kane County, emergency responders rescued a driver from a vehicle that rolled into a creek Thursday morning. The crash happened on Kendall Road around 9:10 a.m., leaving the vehicle upside down and partially submerged. The driver was strapped inside, extricated within 10 minutes, and suffered minor injuries and signs of hypothermia. The patient was taken to a local hospital, and the Kane County Sheriff's Office is investigating. Geneva is postponing its curbside leaf pickup until spring after a November snowstorm buried leaves under 9 inches of snow. The final pickup route will resume in the second half of March for residents who missed their their third collection, weather permitting. In the meantime, residents can bag leaves for free in December using brown yard waste bags to be picked up on regular garbage days. I'm Trey Westerberg on 1410 WRMN Elgin, proudly serving the Fox River Valley.
Hi, it's me, Flo, here to tell you that with the Progressive Home and Auto Bundle, you get 24/7 protection, so you're covered no matter where the day takes you.
Even I added too much water to the pizza dough day?
Yep.
How about getting a call from my daughter to pick her up at the airport because her boyfriend is unreliable day?
Especially that day.
What about finding out that one of my pipes suddenly burst in my basement day?
Progressive has every day covered 24/7 with the Home and Auto Bundle. Also, you have a lot of bad days.
Oh no, that was all the same day.
At least you're covered with Progressive.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-885-3333. That's 800-885-3333.
At Britain's Touchless Car Wash, they know life gets busy. That's why they're here 24/7 to keep your car looking spotless, fast, and easy. Their advanced brush-free wash technology delivers a sparkling clean without a single scratch, because they treat your car like it's their own. Here's the best part. Right now, you can get a free car wash just for joining their text club. It's simple. Just text BRITT to 30400, and your first wash is on them. Britain's Touchless Car Wash has 2 convenient locations, 1923 Larkin Avenue in Elgin and 555 Willow in West Dundee. They're proud to keep your car clean while giving back to our community. Text BRITT to 30400. That's BRITT to 30400. Now for your free car wash, and see why Britain's Touchless Car Wash is the fast, gentle, and reliable choice.
This is Sarah Silver with your Fox Valley forecast, brought to you by Rain-X, America's #1 wiper blade. Today, sunny with a high near 35, temperatures falling to around 33 in the afternoon. Wind gusts up to 25 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low around 27, temperatures rising to around 32 overnight. Tomorrow, mostly sunny with a high near 34. Currently, it is 26 degrees and overcast. I'm Sarah Silver on the Talk of the Town, WRMN.
The holidays are back at Starbucks, so share the season with a peppermint mocha. Starbucks signature espresso, velvety mocha, and cool peppermint notes, topped with whipped cream and dark chocolate pearls. Together is the best place to be at Starbucks.
Find what you love and love what you find at Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, find what you love only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly, B21.
Welcome into the WRMN News. I'm Dennis Green. Today's forecast, high of 37 with a low of 29. Of course, clouds and some of that sun, breezy, but not as cold as the weekend. Wednesday, a high of 35 and a low of 30. Areas of freezing fog in the morning. Times of clouds and sun, but watch for slippery spots early. Thursday, we get a little bit more on the temperature side with our high of 46 and a low of 13. There may be periods of rain in the morning, but otherwise just cloudy and windy. Friday, we lose a few more of those degrees we gained on Thursday with a high of 27 and a low of 22. We head on over to one of our headline stories for today. Read all about it at the Associated Press, but it has made its way to the front page of today's Daily Herald. Naperville's Underwood is fighting Republican to spark a blue wave. This again comes from the AP. Even though Republican Brian Jack is only a first-term congressman, he has become a regular in the Oval Office. As the top recruiter for his party's House campaign team, the Georgia native is often reviewing polling and biographies of potential candidates with President Donald Trump. Lauren Underwood, an Illinois congressman from Naperville, who does similar work for Democrats, has no such West Wing invitation. She is at the other end of Pennsylvania Avenue working the phones to identify and counsel candidates she hopes can erase Republicans' slim House majority in November's midterm elections. Although they have little in common, both lawmakers were forged by the lessons of 2018, when Democrats flipped dozens of Republican-held seats to turn the rest of Trump's first term into a political crucible. Underwood won her race that year, and Jack became responsible for dealing with the fallout when he became White House political director a few months later. Underwood wants to repeat in 2026, and Jack is trying to stand in her way. For Republicans, that means going all in on Trump and his Make America Great Again agenda. Jack said about his party House candidates, "If you're seeing a lot of people very inspired by President Trump, they're excited to serve in this body alongside him and the White House." Underwood said she is looking for candidates with community involvement and public service beyond Washington politics. A registered nurse, she was a healthcare advocate before she ran in 2018, joining a cadre of Democrat newcomers that included military veterans, educators, activists, and business owners. In that way, she said, it's about having ordinary Americans step up, draws in sharp contrast with the actions of these MAGA extremists. Neither party has released its list of favored candidates in targeted seats, but Jack said Oval Office discussions with Trump focus on who can align with the White House in a way that can win. Jack highlighted former Maine Governor Paul LePage as an example. LePage is running in a GOP-leaning district where Democrats face the challenge of replacing Representative Jared Golden, another member of the party's 2018 class who recently announced he would not seek re-election. Trump's involvement contrasts with the 2017 when he was not as tied to House leadership, including then Speaker Paul Ryan, a Republican from Wisconsin, on details of the midterm campaign as he is now. Jack, who got his start with Trump by managing delegate outreach before the 2016 convention, was White House Deputy Political Director and was promoted to Political Director after the 2018 losses. Trump loyalty will not always be easy to measure, especially in first-time candidates. But Jack said Republicans have quality options. He pointed to Albuquerque, New Mexico, where Republicans could have a competitive primary that includes Jose Orozco, a former Drug Enforcement Administration contractor, and Greg Cunningham, a former Marine and police officer. Jack said they both have very inspirational stories. Underwood said Democrats are replicating a district-by-district approach of 2018. The notable numbers of women and combat veterans in her first-term class, Underwood said, was not a top-down strategy, but the result of candidates who saw Trump and Republicans as a threat to functional government and democracy. Underwood, who at age 32 became the youngest black woman ever to serve in Congress after her 2018 election, recalled that Republicans' efforts to repeal the Affordable Care Act spurred her to run because of her training as a nurse. She shares those experiences with recruits, sharpening how they can connect their ideas and background to the job of a congressperson. National security is again a draw for Democrats. Former Marine Joanne Mendoza is running in a largely rural southern Arizona seat, and former Representative Elaine Luria, another Underwood classmate and former naval officer, is running again in Virginia after losing her seat in 2022. Luria was among the lead House investigators of the January 6, 2021 Capitol riot. Underwood said there are clear parallels with 2018 when successful congressional candidates included Sherrill, a former Navy helicopter pilot who is now New Jersey governor-elect, Jason Crow, a former Army Ranger who is one of her recruiting co-chairs, and Virginia Governor-elect Abigail Spanberger, a former CIA case officer. Democrats also noted the need to find candidates who reflect a district's cultural sensibilities, meaning a candidate who can withstand Republican accusations that national Democrats are out of touch with many voters. For instance, the South Texas district, the top potential Democrat challenger is Tejano music star Bobby Pulido. The five-time Latin Grammy nominee has characterized progressive rep Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez of New York for using the term Latinx rather than Latino or Latina. Read more about it over at the Associated Press. Naperville's Underwood fighting Republican to spark a blue wave. Stick around, we've got more headline stories here on the WRMN News Hour, including, quote, I was in the hands of God. A October 7th hostage shares her story at Vernon Hills Hanukkah celebration. Stick around, we've got more coming up after this.
Welcome to downtown Elgin, where businesses, community, and creativity come together. The Downtown Neighborhood Association provides valuable, complimentary services to all downtown businesses, organizations, property owners, and residents, helping you gain exposure and thrive. Whether you're already part of the district or exploring a new downtown location, DNA is here to help your vision grow. Join us in creating a vibrant, connected, and successful downtown Elgin. Call now 847-488-1456, or you can email info@downtownelgin.com. As for Jennifer Facala, Downtown Neighborhood Association, where the heart of business beats strong.
Building a house is hard, but have you tried removing one? Flood Brothers takes the mess out of demolition. With fast roll-off dumpster delivery, reliable debris pickup, and a family-owned team that takes service personally. Call 630-261-0400 or visit floodbrothersdisposal.com. Flood Brothers Disposal, proud sponsor of America's First Responders Fest. The new novel, titled DUI Jury Trial, is the true story of two lawyers who defend a truck driver who is charged with DUI. If he's convicted, this truck driver faces a lifetime disqualification of his commercial driver's license, which would prevent him from ever driving a truck again. This 3-year legal battle culminates in a courtroom showdown, which involves the testimony of a DUI expert witness. This book, DUI Jury Trial, is now available on Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com. Welcome back to the WRMN News. I'm Dennis Green. Quote, I was in the hands of God. An October 7th hostage shares her story at Vernon Hills Hanukkah celebration. When the terrorists came for her and her teenage daughter Natalie at Kibbutz Nal Oz on October 7th, Judith Ronan said she had two goals: protect her daughter and remain faithful to her Judaism. The Evanston resident, who was held by Hamas for 14 days, told her story at the Hanukkah celebration Monday at the Chabad Jewish Center in Vernon Hills. She said, "I was in the hands of God and my daughter too, and I prayed in Hebrew in front of my Orthodox Muslim captors very quietly and nicely. I never lost for 1 second the connection with Hashem." Following a celebration with food, song, and holiday prayers, the guests were held in complete silence as she took them on a journey from her arrival in Israel to her eventual release. She laced her story with humor, at one point saying of the Jews, "We Jews are like the mob. Once you're in, you're always in. We are one family." She said she traveled to Israel to celebrate her mother's birthday, promising Natalie a vacation she wouldn't forget. She remembered the blast of a rocket-propelled grenade. She had 2 minutes to prepare her daughter for what was coming as the voices grew louder. She recalled how she played for a time with one of her captors, asking for a hairpin and using the sound of her voice to warn neighbors not to come out. She shared how she and Natalie were led on foot and at gunpoint into Gaza. The handcuffs cut off her circulation and drew blood. Meanwhile, she put her arm on the terrorist to prevent him from doing anything rash. Along the way, she passed bodies on the road. At the hospital in Gaza, she was asked to undress. When she requested a bra, a nurse told her with a smile, "I'm sorry, I only have one." Though the reminder of her captivity, she remained faithful to her Judaism, insisting on eating kosher and washing before eating bread. She lifted her daughter's spirits and sang Louis Armstrong's "What a Wonderful World." The Shabbat rabbi, Shimi Susskind, said, "We wanted someone to come and speak about staying strong in their Judaism in the face of tremendous challenge." The rabbi said, noting that Hanukkah historical parallels made the choice especially meaningful. One of the guests attending Vernon Hills resident, Josh Ackerman, felt Renan brought a perspective that people, especially children, need to hear. He said, "Kids should hear this and understand it. We are not trying to terrorize kids, but they have to understand what terror is." That comes from the Daily Herald, right from the home page. Before we head out, let's head on over to Geneva. Geneva's curbside leaf pickup program has been halted until mid-March. The spring curbside collection will be limited to those residents who did not receive their third pickup this fall due to snow. The map of those streets is at geneva.l.us. Meanwhile, anyone who can access their leaves is free to put them in brown paper bags and dispose of them for free on their regular trash pickup days through December 27th. Call Public Works at 630-232-1501. Again, that is Geneva Public Works for leaf pickup at 630-232-1501. When we come back, our last headline story, Indian Prairie District 204 welcomes a new superintendent. Stick around, we've got more WRMN news coming up after this.
Are you suffering with anxiety, depression, PTSD, an eating disorder, or even a substance abuse problem? If it's causing problems at work or with your family, get help now at Insight Mental Health and Wellness. We can help and treat all types of depression and mental issues. We'll help you use your insurance to get away from it all to a beautiful, sunny, and tranquil vacation-like environment so you can recharge yourself. And with the Family Medical Leave Act, you could take the time off you need from work. Plus, with the Affordable Care Act, your treatment could be 100% covered. If you're suffering from any kind of anxiety, depression, PTSD, eating disorder, or even a substance abuse problem, use your insurance and get away from it all. Come to sunny California. Call Insight Mental Health and Wellness now. 800-419-0287. 800-419-0287. 800-419-0287. That's 800-419-0287.
My mom has taken up going to the park to practice yoga.
My dad's going to a club, but not a book club, a salsa club.
Finding new hobbies comes with age.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Becoming lost or disoriented doesn't. Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
10 athletes will face the toughest job interview in fitness that will push past physical and mental breaking points. You are the fittest of the fit. Only one of you will leave here with an iFit contract for $250,000.
This is when mindset comes in.
Someone will be eliminated.
Pressure is coming down.
This is Trainer Games.
Watch it on Prime Video starting January 8th.
Welcome back to the WRMN News. Indian Prairie District 204 welcomes the next superintendent. John Price introduced himself Monday night as the next superintendent of Indian Prairie Unit District 204 with a teachable moment. Since he announced the beginning of the end of his tenure at the helm of North Chicago School District 187, Price has received a number of notes and texts from parents and employees. Their words of appreciation have reminded him of what makes the biggest impact. Yes, the strategic plans, the data, hitting goals, and getting new and better tools into teachers' hands are important, he said. But, quote, but what comes first and last are the ways that as leaders, we make people feel and care, kindness and concern that we show for our students and our staff, Price said. So, shortly after the Indian Prairie School Board approved his hiring, Price thanked his family and his, quote, work family in North Chicago. And then he went out of his way to recognize the District 204's, quote, AV tech streaming geniuses who have helped him get to know, quote, this community from afar. The first thing that drew him to District 204 was its advertisement, and more specifically, a job profile that, quote, highlighted relationships, a student and staff-centered leader, authentic care, and showing up for your students here in Indian Prairie, Price said. He will replace Adrian Talley, who will be departing the district in June. School Board President Lori Donahue called the search for his successor a, quote, comprehensive 9+ month process. The board also hired Hazard, Young, Atia, and Associates to help conduct the search that ultimately led to Price. Donahue said Dr. Price brings a wealth of experience and a determination to support students' success. Price will officially start July 1st. Under the terms of his 3-year contract, he will receive a base salary of $3,033 $335,000 for the 2026-27 contract year. Last week, Price announced his resignation as the District 187 superintendent, with his last day set for June 30th. He had held the post since July of 2017. In his letter, Price said the district has stabilized its finances and management, made academic gains, and expanded programming in music, art, clubs, and athletics. Over the past 7 years, the district strengthened teacher retention and increased high school graduation rates, District 204 noted in the message to families. Lake County District also saw an increase in philanthropic support, including a $40 million gift from biopharmaceutical company AbbVie that funded the construction of a new Neal Math and Science Academy for middle school students. Along with a group of volunteers, Price helped establish the nonprofit North Chicago Public Education Foundation. The foundation has since awarded more than 100 full-ride scholarships to graduating North Chicago community high school students. Price pledged to partner with the District 204 School Board and community, quote, to advance the agenda of equality for all of the students that we serve. Read more about it again on the Daily Herald's front page. Thanks for listening to the WRMN News. Head on over to YouTube to read and watch some great programming here at WRMN. Go to youtube.com and find us at WRMN Radio. I'm Dennis Green. I'll be back later, but stick around for some great WRMN programming coming up right after the top of the hour news. For more news, find us on WRMN1410.com.